At the end of the last chapter, I found myself staring at a question that refused to leave me alone. Why did this feel so familiar? Not the marriage itself, not him, the feeling. The feeling of working hard to be chosen. The feeling of proving my worth and giving more than I received. For a long time, I believed my marriage was the beginning of the story. But looking back now, I realized it wasn't. The marriage simply revealed a pattern that had been living inside me for years. A pattern I didn't even know existed. I wish I could tell you there was one big moment when everything suddenly made sense. But there wasn't. It happened slowly. One memory at a time and one uncomfortable truth at a time. I was sitting alone one evening after another disappointing conversation with my husband. Nothing dramatic had happened, just another moment when I walked away feeling unseen. As I sat there replaying the conversation in my mind, an unexpected memory surfaced. I was a little girl again, standing quietly in a room full of adults, waiting, listening, watching, hoping someone would notice me, hoping someone would ask what I thought or someone would care what I felt. And suddenly, I realized something. I had been waiting a very long time, long before I met my husband and my marriage, long before I knew what loneliness in a marriage even felt like. The truth was, I had spent most of my life believing love was something you earned, not something you received. And once I saw that pattern, I couldn't stop seeing it. This happened in my friendships and family relationships. I saw it in the way I constantly put other people's needs before my own. I saw it in the way I avoided conflict even when something felt wrong, or in the way I apologized for things that weren't my fault. Most of all, I saw it in the way I kept accepting emotional crumbs while convincing myself I should be grateful for them. The scary part wasn't discovering the pattern. The scary part was realizing how normal it felt. Because familiar doesn't always mean healthy. Sometimes, familiar simply means you've lived with something for so long that you stop questioning it. And that's exactly what happened to me. I wasn't attracted to pain or loneliness, not even disappointment. I was attracted to what felt familiar. And family often feels safe, even when it isn't. I realized I spent years confusing chemistry with recognition. I thought I was recognizing compatibility. What I was actually recognizing was a feeling I had known for my entire life. The feeling of having to work for love. The feeling of having to prove my value. The feeling of hoping someone would finally choose me. That realization hit me harder than anything that had happened in my marriage. Because for years, I had focused on understanding him, but I had spent very little time understanding myself. I had spent very little time asking why I tolerated things that hurt me. Why did I ignore my instincts? Why I kept extending grace long after I should have extended boundaries? Why did I keep staying in situations that drained me? The answer wasn't weakness or stupidity. The answer wasn't even desperation. The answer was conditioning. Years of it. Years of believing my needs should come second and believing being loved required sacrifice. One of the hardest truths I ever faced was realizing that healing wasn't going to happen by finding a different person. Healing had to happen by becoming a different version of myself. A woman who believed her needs mattered too. PSA: not having self-love is a setup for a life of hell in all areas of your life. For years, I had been asking the wrong question. I kept asking, why does this keep happening to me? But eventually, the question changed. And when it changed, everything changed. The new question became, what is this trying to teach me? That question opened a door I didn't even know existed. Because suddenly, I wasn't focused on blame anymore. I wasn't focused on him anymore. I was focused on growth. And that's when healing finally became possible. Not because he changed, because I did. Because for the first time, I was willing to look deeper than the relationship itself. I was willing to look at the beliefs that had quietly guided my choices for years. And once I saw them, I couldn't unsee them. That's when I realized the next chapter of my life wasn't about finding someone else, it was about finding myself. Not the version of me that performed for approval, not the version of me that sacrificed herself for acceptance, not even the version of me that confused loyalty with self-abandonment. The real me. The one underneath all the conditioning. The one God created before life convinced her she had to earn love. And that's where this story goes next. Because recognizing the pattern was powerful, but breaking it would change everything. We're not just telling stories here, we're rewriting them.
You wore my name like silk on a borrowed Sunday smile. I let you sit in my daylight. You stayed just long enough. Your eyes knew my old scars. Your hands knew where to land. It felt like deja vu, but you were playing in the sand. And I kept saying, baby, while my chest said run. I heard heaven in your